I want to take you back, I think it's what, 13, almost 14 months ago. It was December of 2017, your first signing day here at SMU. How much better was this one?
Yeah.
This whole process this year, how many days have you been on the job when you signed your first guys?
Oh man, it was crazy.
6 days?
Yeah. You know, it's all a blur, but I think about 6 days. Yeah, and then we had, you know, the signing was the same day as the bowl game, and so you could imagine what that was like, trying to get that done and trying to hire coaching staff and, you know, just get to know the current players and really try to get to know SMU and get settled and all the kind of things that had to happen. But it's been an eventful year, and you know, the great thing that I think the most proud of is it just seems like we would get better every day. You know, I think we got better during the season. Certainly didn't end the way we wanted it to, but I think we consistently got better. I think we've gotten better in recruiting. I think as we continue to move forward in the program, you know, we just get better. Our players get better. We get more efficient in how we do things. I think we've become more certain in the way that we do things, and again, I think we just keep getting better. So this recruiting class is certainly better than last year's, and I don't think it will be as good as next year's. And so I think we're trending in the right direction.
How much different was the reception for you and your staff out on the road this year, the full year into the program?
Yeah, I mean, I think well, first of all, we got a great start. I mean, we really did. You know, we were pretty creative in some of the things we did in terms of having our junior days early and really kind of got our hopes into some guys early that we ended up signing. And they committed to us early, and I think the class filled up probably a little more fast than we anticipated. But you know, it kind of went that way, and then we were able to finish with a couple of really good players at the end. And so we feel really good about the group we signed. You know, the funny thing about recruiting is, you know, we get this group signed up today, and we have a junior day on Saturday. We got about 40 kids coming Saturday, and then got another, you know, 10 or 12 coming on Sunday. So we get to start all over again.
From the day you get that oral commitment from a guy, how stressful is it all the way until either the December or the February signing day to know for sure? Because they always tell us oral commitments are not binding.
Yeah, they do. It's you know, it's always stressful. I mean, especially, you know, what happens is you identify players. You work really hard to identify people. I think our coaching staff does an excellent job of finding guys. You know, our player personnel director, Jeff Jordan, does an unbelievable job of finding players for us and identifying who we need to recruit. And I think our coaches do an outstanding job of getting on them early. So what happens is sometimes, you know, you turn over some rocks and you find some players maybe that everybody else doesn't know about, and then of course once they commit to you, it just becomes like, you know, they just become like a marked man. You know, everybody else jumps in the recruiting game, and sometimes it gets difficult to hold on to them, but we held on to almost all the guys that committed to us. We had one or two that left before the early signing day, but you know, we feel like that you know, that it paid off for us. The way that we did it, we paid off, and we'll just continue to refine how we do it and what we do. And again, we think this is a great class, and we think next year's will be better.
Kurt mentioned the Indoor Performance Center that's progressing fantastically. I know it's probably going to be the summer before you're in it, but
yeah,
how much are you itching to get into there?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think it's a big deal in recruiting. I think now, you know, when you look around the Texas high schools, almost everybody's got an indoor facility. And so, you know, they expect you to have one as a college. And so that part of that is important. You know, the thing I always have to remind myself, and I've reminded people for years, is, you know, just to put it in perspective, the Cowboys used to practice in South Lake Carroll or Coppell because they didn't have an indoor facility for a long time. And so, you know, the fact that we didn't, you know, we weren't that far of an outlier, but I think it's going to be a tremendous help for us. I mean, it's going to be a big help for really all our sports teams. I mean, I think all the entire athletic department will utilize it and benefit from it. And we will in football, just because we'll be able to train year round. And as everybody knows, especially this year, you know, we had some crazy weather.
Yeah.
You know, you look at this football season. I think we had 4 rain delays during the season. You know, we were trying to move practices here, trying to practice there, and then obviously the heat that you have to deal with in August as well, in September. And so it's going to be a huge asset for us. I can't tell you, you know, how much I appreciate people in this room, your support. When it comes to donating for that, I want to thank Rick and Kurt and you know, and everybody associated with getting that thing done. I know a lot of people have worked really hard for a long time to do it, and certainly we're going to be the benefactor of it. Our players will as well. But it's going to be it's a big deal. It means a lot to our program, and I think it signals to everybody that you know, SMU football is very important, and you know, we're putting it right on the boulevard right there, and in a prime location, and so I don't think anybody can say, look, football's not important at SMU, because it's pretty obvious it is.
Here tomorrow we're going to see highlights of all 20 players who have signed this year to play at SMU. But first, I know you want to introduce your coaching staff.
Yeah. What I want to do, first of all, thank a couple of people. I've got a list of people here. I'm bad about remembering stuff. So just first of all, I want to thank our coaches' wives. Can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you supporting us and letting those guys go on the road for 3 months and what they do. So thank you to our coaches' wives. Special thanks to Kate, my wife back there, for putting up with me and also want to thank Lisa and Susan in academics and what they do for us. It means a lot. Ramon, thank you. Special thanks to Kevin Knox, the Cox School of Business. Those guys have done an unbelievable job of hosting us and really helping us sell the university. We've got such a great asset in the Cox School of Business, and those guys have been tremendous in working with us, and it made a difference in recruiting for us. I want to thank Terry, Taylor, Emma, G, Brett, Jeff, Joe, and our creative staff. A lot of guys there that have been really important to us. I want to thank Ryan, our compliance staff. You guys have been awesome, great to work with. I really appreciate it, because you know, you take our phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning when we can't sleep and have questions about what's legal and what's not. I want to say special thanks to our coach, to our players for hosting these recruits. You know, guys, they did a lot of work with the potential teammates, and really did a great job selling the university. And what's great is our players provide really meaningful information to us too. When we bring a kid on an official visit, you know, it's really about fit, and so we can ask our players, well, how does this guy fit? Tell us what he's like off the field, tell us what he's like away from the building, because we don't know those things, and we try to know as much as we can, but we really don't know until we get them here and spend some time with them. And so they do a great job of giving up their time to host these recruits, and again, just want to thank all of you guys. Make sure you buy season tickets. That's one thing that I get asked all the time, what can I do to help? Buy season tickets and buy them for your neighbors, and then, you know, twist their arm and make them come to the game. And like I said, I think they're going to like the product they see on the field. So what I'd like to do is have my coaching staff come up real quick, and they're going to introduce themselves. You guys know most of them, but I just want to thank these guys for making it fun for me to go to work every day. Let me say this, I really do believe that we've got an unbelievable coaching staff. There's a number of guys up here will eventually be head coaches, and I mean, it's a great group, and just really, really good people, and really good at what they do. So Brad, I'll start with you since you're injured.
Brett Harrison, D tackles.
AJ Ricker, offensive line. Kevin Kane, defensive coordinator.
Kevin Curtis, corners.
Josh Martin, tight ends. Trey Haverty, safeties.
Randall Joyner, defensive ends.
David Brew, receivers.
Chris Brasfield, running backs.
Brett Lashley, offensive coordinator.
All right, these are them, guys. Thank you. Also, just want to say a special thank you, and just appreciate you know, Jamal. You guys know our offensive line coach. You know, has been kind of battling the sickness, and he's doing a lot better. We were fortunate enough to hire AJ to come in, and AJ's an outstanding coach. AJ Ricker came to us, and we're excited to have AJ, and you know, just thoughts and prayers are with Jamal, and he's going to work as an assistant for us as well this year. So you guys know Jamal. Again, I appreciate the well wishes and thoughts, and he's getting better. So we're looking forward to his recovery soon. Okay, ready?
Ready. Let's see these 20 guys.
All right, let's go. We'll start. All right, what I'm going to do is start with the video, and then make some comments on it, and then do the best we can. Okay, this is Ulysses Bentley. Okay, Ulysses is a running back. Thing that's going to impress you the most about Ulysses is his speed. He's from King High School, which is out of the Houston area. You know, I think Ulysses was a guy that, Played some wildcat quarterback, did a lot of different things. They tried to find as many creative ways to get him the ball as they could. Like I said, the thing that stands out is speed. He can really run, he's fast, he's elusive, real productive. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he runs with his pads low and can finish runs. So that's Ulysses Bill. This is Tay Brooks from Allen High School, right up the road. Really important for us to obviously to continue to recruit Allen. He's a 315-pound offensive lineman, and we need size on our offensive line. And that's the one area that we're working incredibly hard to improve. And you can see Tay there's a big, strong, physical guy that's got a wide body, and I think he's going to have a chance to be a good player. I think his best football is in front of him. So that's Tay Brooks. Great family, really good people. Excited he's going to be part of our program. This is Kobe Bryant, another offensive lineman who's really from Detroit. Went to a college out in Riverside Community College in Southern California. And Kobe's about 6'4", probably close to 300 pounds. Kobe was a mid-semester enrollee, so he's going through our off-season conditioning right now. He'll be here for spring football. And again, you can see, I think Kobe's a way under-recruited guy. One of the great things about Kobe as well is he's got 3 years of eligibility, so excited about Kobe. Okay, Keontae Burns is a wide receiver from Pittsburgh High School out in East Texas. Keontae played a bunch of different positions. Played wide receiver. They got on the ball different ways. Played some safety. Played some corner. Just did a lot of different things. He's a really big guy, 6'3". He's going to be a huge guy. I mean, he's got great size. I'm really excited about him. I think he was one of those players that was a little bit under-recruited, and looking forward to getting him here and letting him develop. This is Elijah Chapman. Elijah's from a really good football school, Evangel Christian out of Shreveport, Louisiana. He's about 6 foot, 270 pounds, remarkably strong guy. Okay, this is Elijah bench pressing right here. I thought you guys might find this a little bit interesting. That is over 500 pounds in high school. And so he's a 775-pound squatter. This is a power clean here. This is 315-pound power clean. Elijah's a big, strong guy, so we're pretty fired up about him. He's also happens to be a good football player. This is 585 3 times. That's what I did this morning in my workout.
It took you 3 times to accumulate 585, right?
Yeah. But he's a fairly strong dude. So we think he's got a chance to be a good football player. Elijah played a lot of different positions. He actually played some running back. They got on the ball, played some fullback, played defensive tackle. Played on the offensive line a little bit at times too. Just a really good football player, great kid. That's Elijah Chapman. All right, Donald Clay, another kid from Louisiana. Really excited about Donald. He's one of the best high schools in the state of Louisiana, John Curtis High School. Pretty amazing story. They've won 27 state championships at John Curtis. Really good football player. He's a real long, athletic guy. Had an interception return for a touchdown, looked similar to that in the state championship game. Can play a lot of different positions for us. Can play kind of our fox, which is our nickel, or kind of like an outside linebacker. I think that's probably where he'll start. Really good athlete, really smart player, great kid. This is Chase Cromartie. Chase is a guy that got on kind of late. Really liked him. He came to our football camp. 6 foot, 170 pounds out of Steele High School in San Antonio. He ran really well at our camp. Long kid, athletic, will hit you. I think his best football is in front of him. He's got a good frame. He's going to be a good player and a guy that you're going to hear his name a lot here in the near future. Kind of rangy. You can see he's long, got some long arms and long legs, and he's going to be a good player. All right, Terrence Gibson. This is our quarterback in the recruiting class. Terrence is similar to a lot of the guys now that you see. Not real tall. Terrence is about 6 feet, weighs about 190 pounds. Terrence is really fast. He's coming off of an ACL injury towards ACL in week 1 of the season after he committed to us. Got great speed, kind of a true dual threat quarterback you see here. I mean, he can roll. I don't know that we've had anybody like him. I compare him a lot to Derek King, who's the quarterback for Houston. I think they're very similar. I think he may have a little bit more speed. Derek may have a little more shape. I think he's a little bit better thrower. So if that's the case, that's good. That's Terrence Gibson. He enrolled early and is here. All right, this is Danielson Ike. This is a kid that we got today. We talked about wanting to get a little bigger up front. He's actually, we're underselling him a little bit. He's more like 6'7", and he was 352 on his visit. He's a big, strong kid, really interesting kid. He's from Nigeria, has just a real unique guy. He's a fantastic singer, really interested in being part of our music program here at SMU that's world-renowned. Is interested in the Cox School of Business. I think he's a very well-rounded kid. We were really fortunate to get him. He's an outstanding player. TJ McDaniel, another outstanding player from South Lake Carroll, won the Tom Landry Award this year as the top high school player in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Really productive. I think he went for about 2,600 yards this year. Outstanding runner. His older brother Cam played running back at Notre Dame. I think TJ compares very well to Cam. He's probably a little bit better player than Cam. I hope Cam's not here. Didn't hear that, Cam. But we're excited about TJ. Really, I think he's got a real bright future. Great kid, team captain. Just a guy that we're really excited about. Very versatile, really good route runner. Just a good football player. Fired up to get him. And I think TJ was one of those guys who really kind of led our class. He was a kid that had a lot of offers, a lot of Power 5 offers, had a Clemson offer early. And he kind of held the group together. Okay, Henry Mossberg, a teammate of TJ's in South Lake Carroll. Henry's, part of the reason TJ had so much success is because of Henry and the offensive line that was blocking for him. Henry's 6'3", about 285 pounds. Excited about him, really good football player technique-wise, plays with good leverage. Played tackle, will probably play guard for us. But is a good football player. Really has some toughness about him, plays hard. Is a good athlete. Excited about his development. And he's ended up being a 300-pound guy as well in the very near future. Okay, Nelson Paul. Nelson's a kid we signed out of Florida that we identified early. Went and saw him play the week we played Central Florida. He's a pass rusher. When you look at what he can do now, he can really rush the passer. That's an area we've got to get better at. Real explosive athlete. Haitian family. Academics are really important to he and his family. We're fired up to get him. I think he's a kid that was a little bit under-recruited. Rasheed Rice, kid from Richland here in the DFW area. Very heavily recruited wide receiver. He's long, he's athletic, he's real productive. We're trying to get bigger wide receiver. We signed 3 guys that were over 6 feet tall. And Rasheed's just a good football player. Really good kid, was an early commit to us. Stuck with us and really productive. Headsy guy. Like I said, you're going to love his length and the way he goes and gets the football. Okay, Roderick Robertson, he's a kid from Royce City, he's a safety. Roderick's an early graduate, he's working out with our team right now. We're excited to see what he can do every day. When you sign him, you never really know what you're going to get. He's come in and made a great impression so far. Our strength and conditioning staff and our coaching staff. He's long, he's athletic, he plays tough. He's a good student. We're excited about him. I think he's a great fit for our program. He's got a great mentality. Looking forward to watching what he can do. Warren Walls. Warren's from Bishop Lynch. Big, long defensive end. He's going to be a really good player, I think. He's a wrestler. 6'4", he's probably 220. When he quits wrestling, he'll be 240 probably pretty quickly. Love the way he plays. Plays really tough, really physical. He's got a great motor. Just what you're looking for from a D lineman. We got to continue to get bigger. Both on our offensive line and our defensive line, and Warren's a guy that's going to have a great frame, and like I said, love the way he plays. He's kind of a nasty player, and that's what we need. As many of those guys as we can get. Sam Westfall's a corner, a junior college corner that we signed. What I like about Sam is he's a physical guy. You know, he's 5'11", about 180 pounds. He'll hit you. He's a good tackler. You know, I think that's something that gets overlooked at the cornerback position. Sometimes the guys got to be able to cover, but they also got to be able to tackle. And you know, it's something that we've certainly got to get better at. Love the way he played physical. I think he'll come hit you. I think he's a good tackler and he's a good athlete. So excited to have him. He's got 3 years of eligibility. Calvin Wiggins, really heavily recruited player that came to our camp, got on the radar. It's from Byron Nelson High School. You know, he's going to run probably 21.5 in the 200 meters. I mean, he can fly, 6'3", really athletic guy. Same thing, I think his best football is in front of him. I think he's just getting started. You know, this is a kid that had numerous Power 5 offers and really good kid, great family, excited to have him. Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the next group of guys, Parker Stone. Parker's a kid that's going to join our program. Excited about him from Parish Episcopal. Wide receiver, really had a knee injury this year, but he's a guy that's been really productive. You know, outstanding player. I think he's got a chance to develop. He's really headsy guy. You know, makes a ton of plays. He's had a lot of catches. His brother's a quarterback there. The two of them really on the same page together, and excited about him. I think he's going to develop into a really good football player for us. Okay, Luke Evans. As a walk-on player that signed with us today, that we're excited about Luke. You know, he's a linebacker that's a tough kid, got a great family. You know, kind of fired up to get him here and see what he can do. You know, it's really important for us to continue to recruit walk-ons. That's been something that, you know, we've really had an emphasis on, and especially in the offensive and defensive line positions and at the linebacker position as well. Carson Garrett, we needed a kicker. Really fortunate to get him. I think you guys know last year we had issues kicking the ball in the end zone. Carson does it almost 100% of the time coming out of high school. I went and watched him play a game this year, and he kicked a 51-yard field goal that probably would have been good from about 65. But this is what I'm excited about right here, watching him kick off and kick it in the end zone. He can do that consistently. Got a strong leg. Just excited to have him as a preferred walk-on. All right, so that's National Signing Day, guys.
And of course, you know, your goal is to really build your program, maybe you redshirt.
Yeah.
Almost every one of these guys. But the good thing is, with the new rule that started this past season, you can still see them all play next year for a few games,
no doubt.
up to 4 games.
Yeah, I think that's a big deal. I think having that opportunity to you know, we'll treat them all as if they're going to play next year. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll have the approach that we're going to play all the freshmen. And then the good thing is you can stick your toe in the water and see if they're ready. And if they are, then you know you can play them. If they're not, then you know you can play them in some games and use your 4 games wisely. We tried to do it the best that we could last year. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way you had planned. You know, we had some guys that we thought, well, we're going to play them the 4 games like a Will Brown, where you know we didn't anticipate him playing maybe as much as he did. But you know, the good thing is, you know, when you're playing with young players, that's always good for your program. So I think a lot of these guys are going to have an opportunity to contribute and play again because of the size and length of them. You know, we're just trying to get our football team bigger and stronger and faster, and you know, a lot of these guys check the box.
And I think we talked about this during the season last year. The other thing about that redshirt rule is it seems like those guys get way more engaged because it could be any week. Even week 10, you just have to be on the field.
Yeah, that's exactly right. What used to happen is, I think it's a really good point, Rich. What used to happen in football, and you guys know this that have played, you know, if you're redshirting, you get to, you know, once you say, well, you're redshirting, then it's like, yeah, you go into slow drive, you know, and kind of try to get through year 1. And the great thing is now we can dangle that carrot in front of these guys and just say, hey, look, you know, we're going to play you in some games. We're going to need you to play. And I think it helps your football team. I think, number one, it helps their morale, keeps them more engaged, which I think helps them academically, helps them off the field, all those things. And then you can also manage some injuries if you have them and that type of thing as well. So I think it's one of the smartest things the NCAA has done in a while is enacting that rule.
Wow, smart guy. I know, it's a smart thing, huh?
Doesn't happen very often.
Coach said that too. All right, we've got some media up here at the front. If we can open up for any questions you guys may have. Go ahead.
Is that still
Yeah, so he's in football.
How much of your approach was filling specific positions of need versus simply acquiring the best players you could find anywhere?
I think that's a good question. I mean, it's a little bit like, you know, you hear when you watch the NFL draft, or, you know, you hear people all the time talk about best available and all that kind of thing. I mean, I think, you know, look, when you're in college football, you've always got to try to sign a football team every year. You know, we had 18 scholarships available this year. You know, we filled 16 of those. You know, I think we're, you know, potentially waiting for a couple of other guys, you know, that didn't sign today that we might sign down the road, maybe a potential grad transfer, that type of thing. So we intentionally wanted to come out of this with a couple of scholarships left over. So part of it's just managing what you do and how you do it. But obviously, emphasis for us is, again, on our offensive line and our defensive line. Just trying to get, you know, more bigger guys, more athletic guys. You know, obviously, there was an emphasis on wide receivers as well. Felt like the receivers, there was a gap really in the recruiting. You know, we had some really good older players, but then there was a couple of gaps in some recruiting classes, and so we needed to fill in at that position with some guys we thought had an opportunity to get on the field early. Excited about those guys, and then we've got to continue to build, you know, depth in our back end and our secondary. You know, that's something that's really, really important. You know, I think everybody's dealing with some of those issues in college football, particularly defensive backs. They're just hard to find. They're hard to keep healthy, you know, because they've got to play on all your special teams, and so, you know, we feel like those were certainly positions in need, and we filled those positions.
You mentioned A.J. Ricker. For the short time he's been here, what's his impact been?
Well, you know, I think he did a great job recruiting. I mean, we just kind of threw him into the fire. You know, I think you know, the thing that we did kind of down the stretch to get Daniel Sonny was, you know, I think we did a great job team recruiting. You know, he went to Kevin Kane's high school, so we had some connections at the high school. AJ did a good job developing a relationship with him. You know, Chris Brassfield did a good job with some of his family. You know, it was just, it was a true, total team effort recruiting him, and I think it made the difference in the end. You know, there's a lot of people that really worked hard, but AJ, you know, it's hard when you jump in, and there's really nobody here kind of to guide you around. You know, basically we threw him a credit card and said, go recruit, you know, and so, you know, that's hard to do, and he did a tremendous job of doing that, building relationships. And, you know, I think now that he's off the road, he's going to start building, you know, kind of an edge and an attitude with our offensive line. And that's what we've got to have. And that group has got to become, you know, a tough-minded, physically tough group of players. And so I think he'll do a tremendous job doing that.
So I know it's probably a little unfair to rank guys, but I'm sort of inferring from what you're talking about AK that he might have been the one to put you over the top. Is that fair to say that?
Well, I think the big thing is it's kind of the new shiny toy, you know, because it just happened right here at the end. So I think part of that happens, you know, when you, but, you know, again, a huge position to need, and, you know, we needed size. And, you know, he checks that box several times. So, you know, that was the, you know, and again, we were able to get that done here at the end, and that was really a big deal for us.
Any guy like UK who had offers from Oklahoma and was down the wire to Power 5 schools, does that maybe open the floodgates for other highly recruited athletes to come in?
Yeah, I mean, I think you go right down the list, and you know, and sometimes you got to be careful because recruiting is strange these days. I mean, it's almost like, you know, it used to be if you got you got letters in the mail, and now you really don't do that much anymore. But you know, when you got a letter, that meant you were kind of getting recruited. And so, hey, this school might be interested in me. Well, now it's almost like you get a scholarship offer, and that's like saying the school may be interested in you. And so it's a different deal. So it's sometimes hard to keep up with what offers are real and what aren't. And I think that it gets overplayed sometimes. But in his case, and I think a lot of these guys' cases, I mean, you go right down the list. I mean, You know, I mean, TJ McDaniel could have gone pretty much where he wanted to go. You could kind of start and just work your way down. And then certainly Danielson could have as well, and certainly, you know, the 3 receivers, those guys all had numerous Power 5 offers. You know, so I think this class is full of those kind of guys.
Ever since you've been at SMU, you've talked about the need to get bigger, particularly on the line of scrimmage on both sides. And when you have a guy like Nelson Paul listed as a defensive end at 6'2", 210, do you project changing him to linebacker, or do you see him as a guy who's going to grow significantly?
Yeah, and I think with Nelson especially, I mean, he's a wiry guy. I think sometimes you've got to, you know, you talk out of both sides of your mouth a little bit. I mean, he's a little bit undersized, but he's a special, unique talent from a pass rushing perspective. And so, you know, when you look around at the kind of elite pass rushers in our league, you know, the guy at Memphis comes to mind, you know, and he's 6'1". He's not real long, guys. We just needed somebody who could really run off the edge. And so I think that's, you know, he's probably a little bit undersized. The good thing is the way we play defense, you know, he'll line up sometimes as a defensive end, sometimes as an outside linebacker. He'll be able to play a lot of different positions, and he's athletic enough to drop into coverage, but his forte is going to rushing the passer.
Looking back at the class, is there anything you would have changed or wish you'd done a little better?
Well, the thing I wish we could have done, honestly, is I wish we could have had 25 scholarships. You know, I think that was the one thing that you know, we wish we could have, you know, just been able to sign a full class. You know, next year we will. You know, this time next year we're going to have a lot of seniors. You know, when I got hired here, there were, I think, 8 seniors in our program. We added 7 grad transfers, which got us to 15. Those 7 grad transfers counted from 25 this year down to 18. But then you got to balance that into 85. So, you know, the good thing is right now our numbers are perfect. We're sitting exactly where we need to be from a scholarship standpoint. You know, the way the grad transfer market is these days, I mean, I would expect us to add some, you know, over the summer. You know, guys that we potentially count forward like we did some last year. You know, we'll see how that plays out. But we do, you know, we have been very judicious in how we've used our scholarships. The big thing that we cannot do here is we can't reach on players. We can't sign guys that we have any hesitation about. I mean, we need all 85 of our scholarship football players, you know, to be legitimate guys. And so the great thing is there's not one player that I felt like we took a reach on in this recruiting class, and I don't think that we'll ever do that moving forward. One thing that's unique about being in Dallas, Texas, and unique about, you know, being an SMU fan and an SMU alum is that there's a lot of people that want to live here. A lot of people that want to go to school here. And so the number of people that have left DFW, went and played someplace, or want to come back and be a part of our program is really kind of staggering. And so, you know, we've had an opportunity to get some really good players, kind of like Reggie Robertson last year. You know, guys that have been really, really good players for us. And we're going to have the same thing happen with some guys that come over the summer as well.
And if you don't mind, one more question on EK. When exactly or roughly did you guys get the news, and was there any screams of jubilation in your staff offices or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it kind of felt like he came on his visit, and he had a really good visit. You know what I mean? And I think he felt really comfortable. You know, I think we did a really good job of you know, making it a community about a relationship and about a community, and you know, I think when he left, I think it really opened his eyes. I think the education part of it, you know, is important to him as well. I think the connection part of it's important to him. I think, you know, living in Dallas and the things that he can do here more important to him, just from an experience and a social aspect as well. He's a very well-rounded kid, and we felt like that, you know, if it was strictly a football decision, he was probably going to go to Oklahoma, but if it was about everything else and football, then we felt like we had a great chance. And I think Tuesday we kind of started heading in the right direction, and you know, we kind of been holding our breath since then. You know, it's hard to tell some of the schools where we're recruiting him no, and you know, he was able to do that.
One more.
Once your guys started to commit to you, who was getting the most attention from other schools and giving you the most sleepless nights as to whether you could hang on to them?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think, you know, the good thing about this group is that, you know, we got on them so early. We spent so much time with them, and we felt like they were coming here for the right reasons. I think when you know, when you truly recruit somebody and you build a relationship with them and you do it the right way, and you invest all that time in them, it gets hard to say no. You know, it's hard for them to not just say no to me, but say no to all the people that have touched them in recruiting. And so I think that, you know, we were recruiting the kind of character of kids that we felt like, you know, more than likely weren't going to change, just because, again, we had been kind of investing in them for so long, and they had kind of been doing the same thing in us. That said, I mean, yeah, I mean, there was, you know, EK was the one, you know, today, you know, just because, again, his recruitment happened kind of late. We became involved in his deal a little bit later than some of the others. But, you know, the early signing, a lot of the guys, you know, we were just kind of hoping that we could hold on to them. But, you know, again, you get a pretty good sense that they were going to stick just because they were, you know, fully invested in our program. I think we were invested in them as well.
Got a couple questions here from some of the folks in attendance, some of the fans here tonight. First up, what changes and additions are you looking forward to the most, and where do you think you're going to see your biggest growth next season?
Well, I think, you know, again, common theme, I think we just got to keep getting better on both sides of our line. You know, I think that's the thing that we don't have the numbers yet that we'd like to, you know, up front. You know, getting that signing today was huge for us. You know, and really all the signings were really big for us and important to us. You know, I think that's where we got to keep improving. I think our football team is different that way. You know what I mean? I think a year ago, you know, we were probably not as big and as strong as we are right now. You know, up front on both sides of the ball, didn't have the depth that we have now in terms of guys that can play, and we think are going to give us a chance to win. You know, the quarterback question's got to get answered, you know, and that's going to be really important for us moving forward. You know, we feel like we've got some kids on campus that have a really bright future. I think Will Brown showed everybody what he was capable of at times this year. He's just got to get more consistent. You know, I think we've got a number of guys that we're excited about. You know, we'll see how some of the young guys continue to develop, but I think Terrence has a chance to be a good player. You know, he's a great athlete. You know, I'm fired up about really all the quarterbacks that we've got in that room. But that's going to be important to us, and then we've got to continue to develop, you know, depth at the corner spot. That's a spot that we need more guys, and we need some of our young guys to step up and contribute. And
one more from the fans. Do you personally meet with the recruits and their families in their homes?
Yeah. So I'm allowed, what I'm allowed to do, it's kind of interesting. So our coaches go on the road, and you get 6 contacts with the player, okay, off-campus contacts. And so the contact period starts the Monday after Thanksgiving. So all our coaches go on the road that Monday after Thanksgiving. They're allowed to go in their homes really 6 times or go to their schools, okay? And so you really spend a lot of time, you eat a lot of meals with them. You know, you end up at a lot of, you know, younger sisters' basketball games or ballet recitals or whatever it is. You know, you're kind of tagging along. And like, I promise I'm not that creepy. You know, I'm just here to show my support. But you know, there's some of that goes on, and then I get to go on the road and go to the high school or to the home one time, and so I've got to do it that day. So typically, what I'll do is I'll go to the high school that day, hit a bunch of other high schools that we're recruiting maybe 2020 guys or 2021 players from, and then end up at the home that night for a home visit. So that's kind of the way it plays out. For me, it is.
Sounds like fun.
It is. No, it's fun. I mean, look, recruiting's a lot of work, and recruiting's tedious, but it's one of the best things about the job because, you know, I mean, I love it because I get to go out and I get to meet with high school coaches, and I just have a tremendous amount of respect for what those guys do and how they do it. Especially being in Dallas, Texas, I think it's the best high school coaches really anywhere in the country are in Dallas. And so it's a blast to go be around those guys, and it's a blast to get to know these young people and be around their families, and you know, and I gained 20 pounds every year doing it. I eat 3 meals a day in my car, on somebody else's car, or truck stops, or Chick-fil-A, or whatever. And so it's a crazy couple of weeks, but it's fun when you get it done.
All right, you mentioned you're all right back at it really quick with recruiting, looking at next year's class, but you also got spring ball coming up, spring game coming up too.
Yeah, we do. We start spring ball in less than a month, believe it or not. We start March 4th, which is a Monday. We'll have 3 practices. We'll have a week off for spring break. Then we'll come back and pick it up the week after spring break, and then go for 4 straight weeks after that, and then culminate with the spring game on April 13th at 1 o'clock. So encourage all of you to come. It should be a fun day. You know, I think it's really important for us to continue to support stuff like the spring game. You know, a lot of our recruits and people that we're after will be there, and it's important for them to know that, again, SMU football is important to this community and to really all of Dallas. And so we're looking forward to that. I think the great thing is spring football, I think, is going to be so much more productive now than it was a year ago. You know, last year was just, you know, trying to get stuff put in, and this year it's going to be a lot of refining what we've done, just getting better at the fundamental things, and just kind of trying to figure out where we're going to go with certain schemes and that kind of thing. But, you know, I'm excited about spring ball. Our guys are miles ahead of where they were a year ago, and you know, I think it's going to be really important for us to continue to develop.
Any more list of thank yous you got before we're done?
No, I think it's it. That was
All
fun. Again, thank all of you for being here, and we couldn't do this job without your support, and really appreciate you being here tonight. And it means a lot to us in our program. So buy season tickets, buy them for your neighbors, make them come, buy them for your cousins, aunts and uncles, whatever. And again, appreciate what you guys do for SMU football. Thanks again.